Hey guys, so as you can tell by the title, this is going to be a video about the brands that I'm just not interested in. I've done a video similar to this where it was brands that I'm just not buying from, but the difference between this video and that video is that those brands in the previous video, they had a lot of stigma and drama attached to them. This one is more about the products, their visibility, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they as a brand have done anything wrong. It's just that they just don't entice me. Okay, so first is Pixie by Petra. Now, when I was at BeautyCon, I met the girls from Pixie by Petra. They were so lovely, they were so warm and just really nice people. But that doesn't take away from how I view the brand as a consumer. So I just find that a lot of their stuff just looks the same. A lot of the products themselves look the same. Like, I feel like they use a lot of the same kind of colors over and over again. I feel like they release the same kind of items over and over again. Like, it's usually an eyeshadow palette or a contour palette, and it just kind of, it's like, okay, there's other things. And I know that they've got other things because I did get some of their products from BeautyCon, but I'm just kind of feeling like, first of all, the plastic green packaging, it really doesn't help to have this plastic green packaging like on every single palette. And I understand that's their theme, but at the same time, it's just kind of like when you have palettes which look very similar in regards to the colors and the shades that are inside the palette, and then you have this same plastic green packaging, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to differentiate between the two or the three or whatever, and it just doesn't entice me. On top of that, I find like Pixie is half in, half out. I understand that not every brand can be at the top like a Kylie Cosmetics or Anastasia or Morphe, but I find that Pixie, they'll release something and it'll be on show, and then once that goes away, you don't hear from them for absolutely ages. So that's just kind of like, oh, well, where did they go? Or you don't even think, where did they go, until they pop back up again, and it's like, oh yeah, Pixie. That's how I feel. And a lot of the time, as I said, it's the same kind of stuff that they had already brought out before. It just isn't enticing to me. So it's just very easy for me to like just glaze over them. Next is Stila. Now, I feel like Stila kind of, they had their moment and then they dropped off and then they came back again, and then they're kind of like, I don't know where they are again. So they had their palette series like in the light, in the garden, in the this, in the that, and I know it featured one of their most well-known shadows, which was the kitten shadow, and I think it's like a champagne gold or a pale pinky goldy shimmer, something like that. It's just one of those really nice shimmery kind of colors that you can use for a wedding, or just one of those really nice shimmers. Anyway, they had that palette series, and then it's like they did come out with things in between, but they never really hit that mark. It never really stuck in my mind. So for you guys, you may feel like they never went nowhere, like what are you talking about? But for me, it's like they never really stood out, and then they came out with the shimmery liquid eyeshadow things that everybody has duped, and everybody was ranting and raving saying, you know, these are amazing, and I'm sure that they were, but then a lot of dupes came out literally straight away. And then even though they are still bringing out some things, they just fall flat. I think that's the best way for me to word it, is that it just seems like they fall flat. Like, they have some things which are really, really good, and then the rest of their stuff just falls flat, and it just makes me feel like they're not even really there. So Stila to me just isn't one of those brands that I feel that I check for. Like, I'm not that interested in what they bring out as much as some other brands, and I find that a lot of their things are so overpriced to the point where even if I wanted to try something, I quickly talk myself out of it, because it's kind of like, with that price tag, I don't think so. Next is Cargo. Cargo, I don't even know where to place Cargo. I tried one product from them. I was in a Debenham store. It's like a big department store. And what was I looking for? I can't remember what it was that I was looking for, but one of the people who worked at the cargo counter kind of grabbed me, and she tried on this HD powder. And I tell you now, this HD powder was the bomb. It was so amazing. And I said, you know, it was so expensive, so expensive. But I said, you know what? It's so good. It's so good. I'm gonna buy it right now. She's like, oh, sorry, we haven't got your color. And I was like, but I've been sitting here while you put this powder on me. Obviously they had the right one for the sample one, but she didn't have that same one in stock, and I was just kind of like irritated, and they never got it back in stock. And obviously because I hunted for it for a while and I couldn't get it, I just kind of left it. But aside from that, cargo, I kind of feel like I don't really know where to place them. Like, I know they're supposed to be high-end, but because I never hear anything, like I don't hear a peep from them, it's like, do they still exist? So whatever they are bringing out, I never get to see it unless I'm searching for it, and I'm never searching for it. So on that level, I'm just not interested, because I don't see them marketing anything. I don't see anything popping up in my Instagram feeds, or when I'm surfing online, they never pop up. And it's kind of like, that's how or a lot of us find out about brands, is like, obviously we know the way that Google and Facebook and Instagram and all of that, the way that they market to us, everything has been made very, very abundantly clear about the way that they market to us by gathering our data, seeing what we view, and then putting things which are similar in front of us via their marketing ads. So that's how I find new brands. That's how I see what's new, aside from Trend Mood, of course. So it's just kind of like, I never see anything about cargo, and if I don't see you, I can't be interested in you because you're not there. But the thing that she did put on me was so good. And I think I have like a liquid lipstick from cargo, from one of my boxes that I used to get. Like, was it Glossy Box or whatever it was? I'm sure it was another box. I don't think it was Glossy Box, but it was cohorted. That's it, cohorted box. It had a liquid lipstick which was all right as well. But it's like, I don't see you marketing. I see like Dior, I see Gucci, I see those brands, like those really, really high-end brands. I don't hold cargo in the same esteem as Gucci and Dior, but if they're taking the time to market and I'm seeing and I know that they're there, I'm clicking so I can find out more. Even though I don't buy nothing, I'm still clicking so I can find out more, or whatever it is. It was like, oh, Dior have come out with blah blah blah. I just never see cargo doing it. Next is Glossier. Glossier is like that no makeup look. You know, like when people used to come out with those videos like, oh, this is my no makeup look, and I always used to kind of think, well, what's the point if it's supposed to look like you haven't got makeup on? But it does make sense, and I think I like, once it kind of did make sense to me, I did one of those videos as well, because there are times where you just want to, you know, cover a little blemish or whatever, but you just don't really want to have this full face of makeup. You just want to look as natural as possible, but you don't want to look like you made the effort to paint your face. But Glossier is most definitely the embodiment of no makeup, to the point where it's like their foundation, from what I've seen from the reviews, the try on reviews, is like foundation was pretty much like water. It barely looked like it was doing anything. It was like this slight tint. Like everything was just so light and so almost non-existent. The girls in the campaign ads, they're like putting the makeup on with their fingers, like putting the foundation on with their fingers and putting the eyeshadow on with their fingers, and it's like, okay, this really is just for the woman on the go who does not really, who just wants to look fresh faced and not made up, not like beat to the gods kind of thing, which is like, everyone has the right to have their own preferences, but this just isn't a preference for me. And I remember I went onto their website today because I couldn't remember the name of the company, so I found out what they were called. I went onto their website because they've launched a UK website, and the prices though, I'm kind of like, a lot of people would still say they're affordable, but considering that I know what the results are more or less going to be like, it's kind of like, you're charging me how much for a bottle of foundation which is pretty much running like water? It's not for me. Like, I would want to see a difference. Like, I put on a foundation and I expect my foundation to take away my blemishes. I don't want no light coverage, nothing. And this isn't to bash the company, I'm just saying that it's just not right for what I like, and considering that they're providing things which are so light coverage and all of that, prices are a little bit extortionate to me, because as I said, it's kind of like, what are you charging for? You're barely putting anything in those things. thing. That's just how I see it. Lastly is Unique. Unique kind of fell off of the radar. I remember there was a point where they brought out like this 3D lash mascara, and the way it was supposed to work was, you know, the mascara itself had like these tiny little mini fibers inside, so when you brush it onto your eyelashes, it holds onto the eyelashes and it makes it look thicker because the fiber mimics eyelash hair basically, so it makes the lashes look like they're thicker than they actually are. And to me, like, number one, that to me is a safety hazard. What if one of those fibers drops into my eye? That is a hazard, number one. Then obviously on top of that, that fiber is going to have mascara in it, so that is going to also affect like my eye juices and all of that stuff. On top of that, it's just the way that Unique is, like what I've seen of the reviews and from the people who used to work for Unique, it's almost like an Avon situation. Like you have representatives who will then sell you the makeup, and that makes me wonder, are you not able to just go online and buy the makeup? Like, I'm sure you are, but all right, see you later. See you later. Bye. Bye. Love ya. Love ya. My friend. Yeah. All right, love ya. Bye. 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 And to me, it's just a little bit outdated. Like Avon, I know Avon's still going on. Like I remember looking through those Avon catalogs and thinking, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. But I feel like that whole door-to-door thing, like, I'm not saying that Unique is door-to-door, but they have representatives who have got to go out of their way to find customers so that they get paid. And I understand it's probably a great way for, you know, single mothers and, you know, stay-at-home carers and people like that who need an income but are unable to work, or people who just need an extra something on top of what they're currently getting. It's probably perfect for them. But I just kind of feel like, you know, a lot of these people, like a lot of influencers who are online who were reviewing for Unique were kind of like, you know, I'd open up my emails and I'd have like 15 emails from different Unique representatives, all for the same product. That's jarring. That is jar to the ring. Like, what? Listen, I feel like that whole thing is just kind of outdated, and they probably need to bring it into the new way of doing things. But I remember a lot of people were not happy with the whole 3D fiber mascara, and it was just written off like that. Like, people were not effing with it. They weren't playing when it came to that. They were like, not feeling it at all. Anyway, so those are all of the brands that I am just not interested in. What are your thoughts? Are any of those brands that I mentioned like your faves, or do you agree with some of them? Or what are the brands that you are not interested in? Like, let me know down in the comments below. And I hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.